the car.
Yes.
Right?
Accidentally.
But her love and money didn't stop.
Who gave him the credit card?
Your Honor, the whole reason I gave him the credit card, he's a big manipulator.
He played you.
This is Judge Judy. Erica Fulcher is suing her ex-boyfriend, Keshawn Holmes, for transportation costs, credit card charges, and for extorting money from her.
Judge, this is case number 144 on the calendar in the matter of Fulcher versus Holmes. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Miss Fulcher, how old are you?
35 years old, Your Honor.
What do you do for a living?
I am a licensed esthetician and entrepreneur.
Single.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any children?
No, ma'am.
Who introduced you to him?
My friend, Florence.
You know how old he is?
Yes, ma'am.
How old is he?
25 years old.
Do you know what he does for a living?
He's an inspiring rapper, I believe, and...
He does nothing.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you knew that he did nothing. You know, I'm an aspiring Grandma Moses. It's not going to happen for me. You know who that was?
No, ma'am.
She was someone who started painting at the age of 75 and did it very well. So your friend, according to you, told you he was at a crossroads in his life, trying to make himself better.
No.
You like yourself just the way you are.
Yes, ma'am.
So, you know, there are some people that are born with confidence. They may not have anything to back it up, but they're born with confidence. It's a wonderful thing. Really, it's a wonderful thing for everybody to have that kind of confidence, even though they have done nothing, okay? So the first thing, according to you, started to date. Now, he says you were never dating. You were just friends.
Correct, Your Honor. We were not dating.
So when you said in your complaint, in September 2020, I met Sean through my best friend's brother, and we started dating. That was wrong.
I don't consider us to be in a relationship.
No grunting. What?
I wouldn't consider dating to be a relationship. It was definitely a
friendship.
friendship.
Well, you wrote it.
Yes, ma'am.
You wrote it. You wrote it dating. Dating is something more than just friends.
I agree, yes.
Well, were you dating or just friends?
Dating.
No.
There we go. That's what you said in your complaint. Now, Mr. Holmes, I would like you to give me your definition. Listen to me. You know, you may ultimately prevail in this case. That doesn't mean it's not going to cost you.
Two people together, going out, having a bond exclusively, only, you know, and basically as an understanding that you two both are dating and, you know, y'all come to that terms in the word of like, hey, we date, and one of y'all ask each other to date, boyfriend, girlfriend type.
Okay,
you know.
so let me pull out some words that you said. Exclusively. So to you, dating means neither one of you see anybody else.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so I would like you to describe for me, give me a word to describe the relationship that you had with the plaintiff.
Transactional.
What?
It was, I gave her.
What does that mean,
I gave her stuff for her assistance back, so it wasn't like anything just off the genuineness or muscle of like doing anything.
What did you give her?
Oh, money for the things that I'm being sued for and just time and stuff like that. Like, I paid, like, you know, it was a conversation. Hey, can you do this? I will pay you. And, yes, I will do this as long as you pay up front first. So it was nothing like, oh, speak, ma'am?
Could you please further describe to me what you mean when you say it was a transactional relationship?
Basically, everything was in front.
Mr. Holmes, stand up straight.
Got you.
And I want you to eliminate your answers to me.
Yes, Your Honor.
No basically, no like. Perhaps I should be more specific with you. Did you and the plaintiff ever have, since September when you met, sexual relations?
Yes.
More than once?
Yes.
More than 10 times?
No.
Between 5 and 10?
Nah, wouldn't say that. More like 4.
So between 1 and 5? 4?
Yes.
Now, when she rented a car for you that you destroyed, but she says you paid her $491.43 towards the rental fees, but you destroyed the car.
Yes.
Right?
Accidentally.
Well, an accident is when you're not doing something really stupid.
Well,
An accident happens usually when somebody is being cautious in a car and through no fault of their own or through a misjudgment, there's damage. But this says he was using the car to perform tricks. What kind of tricks?
It was it was a careless accident, and it wasn't too much of tricks. I was filming a music video, and yeah, it was just the act, mistake going wrong, some new stuff I learned how to do. Brake gave out, couldn't do for that. It wasn't like no secret. It wasn't like something I tried to hide or anything.
Okay. Your problem is, Ms. Fulcher, you're suing him for a lot of things. The fact that he overspent on a credit card
Yes,
of yours?
No, Your Honor. I have the evidence. He had a credit card in his name. He took the card himself.
Credit card, you did.
Who gave him the credit card?
Your Honor, the whole reason I gave him the credit card...
Who's responsible for paying the credit card, Ms. Holmes?
Yes, I'm the authorized account holder. Based off of the agreement that Mr. Holmes and I had, and me having empathy for him and him trying to transition.
Listen to me. I know exactly what it is when I read the papers. Do you understand? I want to show you how ridiculous you are.
Yes.
You rented a car for him.
3 times.
And don't speak out again. You know I'm not crazy about you.
Yes, ma'am.
You rented a car for him, and you saw what he did to the car, and you continued to do other things for him. Give him money for a plane ticket because he needed it, send him money because he needed it to get back home because somebody, he said, robbed him at gunpoint. You believed all that after you saw what he did to the rental car. And during that time, according to him, 4 times. He said 4 times because he was being a wise Alec. The rest of it is on you. You didn't have a business arrangement with him. You had a social arrangement with him that he didn't take seriously, but you did. And if you said to me, he was a young man, 10 years younger than I am, he wanted to transition his life, he wanted to do something more with himself, and, I had no relationship with him other than I met him, and I thought he had potential, and I wanted to help him. Well, that's one thing. Having sexual relations with him is something entirely different. Then you're giving money to a young boyfriend, and you don't get it back.
Can I say something, Your Honor?
Women are supposed to be smarter. Unless what you're going to tell me that you didn't have intimate relation with him, then I'll listen to you. But you and I both know that that's not true.
Correct, Your Honor. Mr. Holmes is correct. We only had intimacy 3 times. So I was not attracted to him in that way, but I did have empathy for him, and I was trying to help him transition. The reason why I got him the credit card in his name was in efforts to teach him how to be self-sufficient and to disconnect myself from having to be accountable or reliable for him. He did state to me that he really needed help, and one of the reasons, the really reason why I continue to do things is he's a big manipulator, and he would threaten me. He would emotionally and verbally
You rented me a car 3 times.
I did not rent.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
Sorry.
Don't
Sorry,
talk.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Yes, I did not rent him a car 3 times. It was 2 times. When the second time happened, which was on October 17th, and she's my witness to account for that, he came to my house and distraught, and he was crying, telling me how he just needs my help again, and he's so sorry. And he even had me in tears.
Listen to me. Listen to me. He played you.
Absolutely.
He played you. There is only one part of your lawsuit that I am going to entertain. All the rest of it, you rack up to experience and being foolish. And the only thing that I'm actually curious about, because all the rest of it is, you had a young boy toy that you said, okay, I'm going to help him turn his life around. And then it all sort of kicked back at you. You asked him for the keys back the second time that you rented a car from him. I want you to tell me what happened when you want...
On October 19th, when I asked him for the keys back, he told me that I needed to
Why did you ask him for the keys back to the second rental car on the 19th of October?
I never wanted to do it in the first place, Your Honor, which is how the first rental car...
Just a second. Would you just
I was trying to get the vehicle back.
What happened that caused you to try to get the vehicle back? There had to be some change in your attitude.
Well, I was always trying to get the vehicle back. So Mr. Holmes came to my house on the 19th. And that morning, outside my house, I heard a lot of chaos. I heard someone calling his name, saying, Keyshawn, Keyshawn. And I work from home. I had a Zoom meeting at 9 o'clock, so I couldn't address it. I was like, what is going on out there? I guess he was sharing his location with someone, and that person came to my house and was honking the horn.
Just a second. On October 18th, did he sleep over at your house?
Yes, ma'am.
So he slept at your house, and what you heard outside was a commotion because a woman was calling his name outside.
Yes, Your Honor.
That is playing out, and that scene is playing out. Put your hand down. I don't want to look at you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Read?
We did, just not there.
Where?
We had a
No.
online ceremony.
We could have done the virtual element as well.
You know, if I had different parents, I would have been 5'10" and lithe, but I did not have different parents. It is what it is.
Erica Fulcher says ex-boyfriend Keyshawn Holmes crashed her car, ran up her credit card, and extorted money from her.
Now, what you heard outside was a commotion because a woman was calling his name outside.
Yes, Your Honor.
That is playing out, and that scene is playing out. Put your hand down. I don't want to look at you. That scene is playing out in my head, that he spent the night at your house. Somebody came by that he was sharing his location with. So on the 19th, you said to him, give me the keys back to the car. You weren't always trying to listen to me. You weren't always trying to get the keys back. You had just slept with him on the 18th.
Your Honor, that is not true.
Yeah. Okay. So on the 19th, you said, give me the keys back. And he said,
Give me $500 if you want the keys back, because he felt that he had given me money previously and he doesn't really know how to. It's important to me. I went in my house and I got the money and I gave it to him to be done with him.
No,
I
you tried
felt
to
like
blackmail me.
yeah, I got it. My gut reaction was correct. Next time, if you want to help somebody, find somebody who's 9.
I understand, Your Honor.
And invest in their future. You understand? Good. Your case is dismissed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
I'm satisfied with the decision, but, you know, I just didn't think that it should come this far. It is what it is. It's called life, and I accept my accountability for what I did wrong and my faults. I have no bad blood, so I always try to be on the good terms and try to come to some type of conclusion and even help. You know, I never wanted any type of drama or anything, but obviously two people got to be mature about it and come together and be on the same page.
All parties in the matter of Coruscant versus Mekki, step to the podium, please.
Zaki Coruscant is suing Event Center COO Krista Mekki for the return of his rental deposit after pandemic restrictions caused him to change his wedding venue.
Mr. Coruscant, well in advance of your planned wedding, you booked the defendant's venue to have the wedding. According to what I read, you signed a contract in August of 2019. The wedding was 2020.
Correct.
And you gave the defendants a $3,000 deposit to hold the venue.
That's correct.
And then COVID struck the planet, and you didn't use their venue, and you want your deposit back.
Exactly.
So I have a couple of questions to ask you before I look at the contract.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Everybody had already come around. Everybody knew the drill. Big Inside was a no-no. 0 people.
But on the date of his actual wedding, we could still do 50.
Is Corinthian Event Center still in business?
Yes.
They should be smarter.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Zaki Coruscant is suing Event Center COO Krista Mekki for the return of his rental deposit after pandemic restrictions caused him to change his wedding venue.
Now, you do understand that the reason for a deposit is so that the venue can not book any other event for that day. They are committed to doing an event for you on that date.
Yeah, the $3,000 deposit was... Yes.
The answer is yes. And you understand that the reason you booked so far in advance was because you wanted to ensure that you booked so far in advance. And according to you, you planned a big wedding, 150 people. And your complaint alleges that in August of 2020, you were advised that you would have to limit the number of people in order to comply with the law in the state of California. You do live in California.
That's correct.
Correct? And somebody is going to tell me that at that time in August, events were limited, according to this, to 50 people, which actually at this point sounds like a lot for indoors. You had more people than that who had been invited to your wedding. Defendants say that's not our fault. We were prepared on the date of November 8th to have a function at our facility. It's not our fault that the state limited the number of people. So now I'm going to go to Ms. Mecki. In August of 2020, do you know what the governor's rule was with regard to gatherings in August?
Yes, 50 was allowed.
What was the limit?
Excuse me.
50 were allowed in August.
Correct.
How many were allowed in November?
At the beginning of November, 50 were still allowed. They changed the order on November 13th.
To how many?
Nothing inside.
0.
Correct.
Right.
Right.
Did you get married?
We did, just not there.
Where?
We had a
No.
online ceremony at my house, our house,
On what date?
on November 9th, the day after we were scheduled to originally get married.
So all your closest guests came virtually?
Yeah, we had our immediate families present, distanced, masked, maybe 8 people, and everyone else was able to dial in through the online virtual call.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, how many people are allowed inside now?
Still at 0.
He gets his $3,000 back.
Okay.
Do you understand?
We could have done the virtual element as well.
Yeah. You know, if I had different parents, I would have been 5'10" and lithe, but I did not have different parents. It is what it is. And your venue should be smart enough to understand that. If they were planning a wedding in August and at that time, foolishly, they were allowing 50 people to gather inside, then my reaction might be different. If you wanted to 50 people, that's what the governor says I can have. But in November, everybody had already come around. Everybody knew the drill. Big inside was a no-no. 0 people, he gets his money back.
But on the date of his actual wedding, we could still do 50.
Is what you're telling me on the date of his actual wedding, which was supposed to be on November 8th. And what you're telling me is that the governor's restriction, although announced before, took place on the 13th. Is that what you're saying?
The restriction took place on the 13th.
It was announced
correct.
before. It was announced before, but it was effective on the 13th. Is Corinthian Event Center still in business?
Yes.
They should be smarter. They should be smarter. Anyway, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000. We're finished. Thank you.
Your Honor.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
Did you have the leash in your hand at all times?
Yes, I did.
The pit bull had broken away from the owner. I was screaming. The dog was totally clenched onto my dog.
Next Judge Judy.
We gave them every opportunity to still have their event at our event center, just maybe not on the date that they wanted.
We understand that changing the date could have been on being married in November of 2020.
Due to COVID, but hey, she ruled how she ruled, and that's fine.
And we didn't want to reschedule, not knowing what the future would have held in case we would have had to reschedule again after that.
Yeah, we rescheduled about 100 couples through COVID, so.
I understand the Stonewall approach, but I think everyone needs to be a little bit more compassionate during these times.
It is what it is, 2020 weddings, what can we say?
It's time to enjoy being married.
How did you find each other?
It was through a dating app.
I guarantee you, he thinks he's God's gift.
Charmed out of her money?
He gave him a credit card. He thinks he's adorable. He probably has done this sort of thing before.
But the judge doesn't like what she sees.
Then you gave him another card. I know he thinks he's an attractive guy, but you know, you're a smart lady. That's not smart.
My bad.
This is Judge Judy. Julie Bossert is suing Manny Baker for unauthorized credit card charges and the return of property.
Judges, case number 107 on the calendar in the matter of Bossard versus Baker. Parties have been sworn in.
Thank you, Bird. Mr. Baker, I'm going to start with you, sir.
Yes.
You met the plaintiff.
Through a series of messages, we messaged each other. I was working in her neck of the woods.
Well, how did you message each other? How did you find each other? That had to be a site
it was
that you
through
were
a
on.
dating app.
What app?
Plenty of Fish.
And in what month did you first connect on this dating app?
I think it was March 2020.
And how far away did you live from each other?
I'm about 300 miles.
When, for the first time, did you meet in person?
I don't have the exact date, but it was late March, probably March 20th-ish.
Did you go to where she resided, or did she come to where you resided?
Actually, she was a hairstylist, and during COVID, haircuts were illegal. And my haircut was getting quite long, and she said, I'd give you a cut if you wanted to come over to my salon. So I went to her salon, and
Well, that's 300 miles, sir.
oh no, I was working.
Asking you.
I was working in the area at the time.
Oh,
Yep.
what kind of work do you do?
At that time, I was selling walk-through bathtubs. Sales, in-home sales.
Well, you were now 300 miles away from your home. Where were you staying?
I stayed, there was an Airbnb in Spokane that was probably 20 minutes from Post Falls where Julie lived.
How long did you stay at this Airbnb?
February 1st to, I used it, I still use it, I still go there. I've been using it. The first time I went there was February 1st of 2020.
So that you use it for what purpose? For selling walk-through bathtubs?
Yeah, I have certain appointments that I have to be on throughout the state of Washington, Idaho, and Oregon.
For selling
Yes, ma'am.
walk-through bathtubs?
Yes, ma'am.
So you work for a company?
Yep, in-home sales.
What's the name of the company?
Safe Step.
Are you a salaried or a commissioned employee?
Commission only.
How long have you been with them?
I started January 1st, did training. Actually, might have even been right at January 1st. I think I was out of training around January 11th.
What were you doing before that?
I'm a general contractor by trade, and definitely preferred the in-home sales side of it. When I get into someone's home, it's just second nature to me. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Then it's way more lucrative.
Prior to that, you were in general contracting. Did you work for somebody else, or did you do that yourself?
Mostly self-employed since right out of high school.
How old are you?
49.
Well, you're a grown-up, sir. You're almost a half a century old. So
feel
you
like
were
it.
doing, until January of this year, you were this training job with walk-through bathtubs.
Right.
You were doing what to support yourself?
We were doing large remodels.
Were you ever...
Bathrooms.
Who was we?
Me and a team of guys that I've known for the last 20, 30 years. Some new ones, some old ones.
Have you ever been married?
I was.
Do you have children?
2 boys.
How old?
25 and 23.
Did you live with them when they were growing up?
I would never be apart from them. They were my everything.
That's not my question. I said, did you live with them when
did.
they were growing
Yep.
up? Is your former wife the mother of those children?
Yes.
And when were you divorced?
It was legal in 2011.
Well, you say it was legal. That means that you were separated prior to 2011.
Correct. It started in 2009, but we had a $5.5 million bankruptcy that we had to file, and that took a few years to get accomplished.
During that time, did you live together from 2009 until 2011?
2010 is when I moved from the home.
Did the boys stay in the home?
They did.
So that one boy was 13 and one boy was 15.
Correct.
And they lived with their mother.
Right.
Okay. Now, it involved, I assume, personal $5 million bankruptcy.
We were a developer and general contractor. We had 70 lots, 18.
Who's we?
Me and my wife.
And were you relieved of debt in the bankruptcy filing?
It was a Chapter 13, yes. There was still some debt that I felt that I still owe even after the bankruptcy.
What did you use the plaintiff's credit card for? She gave you, shortly after you met, a credit card that had a zero balance.
Right.
What did you use it for? Because you were the sole person who used it.
Correct.
What did you use it for?
We used it for a few supplies, and Julie did give me one card. Then she took that card back to do another card that had a $10,000 balance on it. And so I paid off the first card that she had given me. She paid it. I paid her to pay it.
What did you put on that card?
We bought supplies.
What did you put on the first card?
Supplies.
Supplies for what?
For a job.
For what?
That we currently had going on in the city of Newport, Washington. There was a small amount of supplies.
Shh. You mean you and the plaintiff?
No, that was just me.
So you bought supplies for your own business.
Correct.
Through bathtubs on commission. You were doing a side job, something else, with your own business having nothing to do with her, and you used her credit card for some supplies. How much? How much?
The supplies may have totaled $1,500 to $1,800.
Did you pay it off that card?
I did pay off that card.
Did he pay off that card?
I made a decision to take money he gave me to pay off that card, along with other money he gave me to put towards the other card.
Okay, so he gave you money and you paid off that card.
Correct.
Then you gave him another card. In what month?
Well, it was
What month?
It was the same month. My bad.
Well, tell me what month.
May.
So you met in March, the end of March. And by May, when you met, according to you, you said wasn't a romantic thing for either one or both of you. I'm not so sure about you, but I could tell you for sure about him. It wasn't a romantic thing for him. So at some point, what kind of work do you do, by the way?
I'm a salon owner, and I still work behind the chair.
So you work hard for your money?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
assume.
I've had my business for 20 years.
Now, I know he thinks he's an attractive guy, but, you know, you're a smart lady. If you're a business owner for 20 years, you're a smart lady. You meet a guy the end of March.
Well, there were prior things that happened to me giving him the card. I was under the impression that we were going into the sewer business together. And as a part of doing business, supplies...
Why in the world would you want to go into the sewer business together with somebody that you met online, that came for a haircut, and a couple of weeks later said, I need a credit card because I'll go into business with you. Right now, I just finished my training in walk-through bathtub sales. I've been through a bankruptcy, a $5 million bankruptcy with my ex-wife who had a business. Why would a smart lady who's run a business for 20 years give a credit card to anybody? You know that I have children who I love. I have grandchildren that I love more than life. I will give them anything they want except a credit card of mine. A finite amount of money? You want $500? Tell me what it's for, it's yours. You need more? Tell me what it's for. It's yours. If it's reasonable. I wouldn't give somebody a credit card. You give some stranger who you know nothing about, and you're a business gal, and a hardworking business guy. I don't understand it. So you're going to have to give him a credit card. You know, he thinks he's adorable. He probably has done this sort of thing before. I assume he has over the last 10 years or even more when he was married. I'm not exactly sure about that. But I guarantee you, he thinks he's God's gift. Has that air, because no guy that didn't think that about himself would ask somebody and use their credit card and then stiff them, which is what you did.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did you pay off everything that you bought and still own?
Technically, no.
What does technically mean?
I literally made payments, and I've spent $5,500.
Who cares what you spent?
And later today.
How do you support yourself?
Right now, I'm not.
What does that mean? Right now?
I'm under a lot of stress right now. I'm trying to
Me too.
regroup.
I'm getting more stressed by the minute.
Julie Bossard is suing Manny Baker for unauthorized credit card charges and the return of property.
Now, you used her credit card, and then you stiffed her. That's what you say.
Not true.
So in order to do that, you really have to... Really? Not? Did you use her credit card and buy equipment?
Oh, I made payments.
Did you buy equipment? Just a second. Did you pay off everything that you bought and still own and still have possession of? Very easy question. Did you pay off everything that was purchased that you still have possession of?
Technically, no.
What does technically mean?
Well, I literally made payments, and I've spent $5,500 on replacing the tractor.
Who cares what you spent? I don't care about a tractor trailer. She bought a tractor trailer. You weren't in business with her. She got annoyed that you hadn't paid the credit card. She took back the tractor trailer that was in her name. So I don't care.
Okay.
You used the tractor trailer while you had it. Who cares? What I'm asking you, sir, is do you have equipment in your possession that was purchased on her credit card
I do.
that you didn't pay for?
I do.
You do?
Yep.
She's going to get it all back. I'm going to sign an order for a marshal to come and get the following equipment. Read it out.
The following equipment.
What equipment is going to be picked up with the aid of a marshal?
It
Go.
is a jetter and a sewer camera.
How much was it just for my jetter and sewer camera?
The Seattle pump was $2108.25, and the camera was $3423.80.
Well, that was worth of stuff.
Correct.
Great. Where is it located?
City of Sumner.
What facility?
My home base. My home.
What facility? It has a name.
Well, we call
Apex
it.
Storage.
It's my
What is it?
primary residence. Do you want the address?
Is this equipment at your residence? I have
is.
to give the marshal a location to pick
Yep.
it up.
1 Valley Avenue East.
Is that where he lives?
Yes, ma'am.
You'll have a marshal's order. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much. We're done. Bye.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
There was an agreement that we had made.
I put my trust into somebody that had no intention of protecting me at all whatsoever.
She simply bowed out of the agreement and left me kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
So his focus was on anything but our business.
This is icing on the cake for her.
He never continued on with the business to pursue
I
it.
see her point of view.
He was on to pole barns. He was wanting me to give him $20,000 for property to invest in a wedding venue.
We certainly had a lot of conversations.
I get up every day and I work really hard for my money.
She is a hard worker. She's done well for herself, and wish her nothing but the best.
Oh, I'm just going to keep on. This is 1 out of 4 with him.
And now, the next case.
Bob, step forward.
Sandra Nicole Labrie is suing her former roommate, Jonathan Taub, for the return of her property, motel bills, and punitive damages due to a false arrest.
Miss Labrie, what kind of work do you do?
I'm in.
It's not an answer. Don't look down here. Look right here. What
I'm
kind
an
of work
artist,
do you do?
entertainment, music, and
You're
I do
an
side
artist in
catering.
entertainment and music.
Yes, and I.
Where do you work?
I do side catering.
You do side catering. What does that mean?
Side catering means like if a person need me to cook them anything, I can prepare a dish for them.
How do you support yourself?
Right now, I'm not.
What does that
under
mean?
a lot of
Right now,
stress.
right.
I'm under a lot of stress right now. I'm trying to
Me too.
regroup.
I'm getting more stressed by the minute.
I'm trying to
gonna-
regroup my
I'm-
life.
Great.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
That night, when the police came, she said, while you're at work, I'm having sex with all kinds of guys, and I have $30,000 in the bank, and I'm not going to pay you a dime. Ha ha.
How did you know her?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Sandra Nicole Labrie says former roommate Jonathan Taub won't return her property. It's arrest.
I want to know how you support yourself.
Friends.
Friends.
Family and friends.
Family and friends.
Okay.
And where do you live? In what jurisdiction do you live?
Right now, I'm living in Century City.
Century City.
Yes.
That's pretty expensive territory.
In a motel.
You must have nice friends.
Well, I had savings.
What kind of work do you do, Mr. Taub?
Swimming pool, pumps, motors, equipment.
What does that mean, swimming pool, pumps, motors, equipment?
I repair them, install them.
You have a company?
Yeah, I work for...
No. You have a company.
Yes. I work for other people, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm self-employed for
What's
many
the name of
people.
your company?
Jonathan's Pool Service.
And are you a corporation?
No. Sole proprietorship.
So people pay you in cash?
No, like management companies, things like that. I have a website, Google, 1099. Once in a while, I might get paid in cash, but it's 1099 most of it.
Okay, this is your claim. He took you in as a roommate.
Yes.
You were supposed to pay rent.
Yes.
He came up short most of the time on your rent. That's what he says. You came up short on your rent.
I don't think so.
At some point, according to you, you had a disagreement with him. You had to go to the hospital and spend 3 days in the hospital because you had an asthma attack.
Yes.
And then when you put it in storage, locked you out. The police, according to you, told you you could break into the house, right?
Yes.
Police said you can break in through the glass door in the back.
They weren't getting into it.
No, according to you, the police told
Yes.
you to break into the house.
Yes.
Is what I'm saying. That's what you say here. And so you broke into the house. Then there was a big argument because he came home, found you in the house. What?
I called the locksmith right here. A locksmith.
Yes.
The police said they weren't getting involved. It was a civil matter.
Yes.
Do whatever I had to do. So I called the locksmith.
Yeah.
Because I was like from a hospital bed to a jail cell the same day.
Okay. When he came home, he found you in the house. There was an altercation. The police were called. He told the police that you had slapped him. You were taken to jail. You were ultimately released a couple of days later. So you're suing for a host of things, $5,000 for stolen property, for your motel bills, for punitive damages due to false arrest.
Yes.
And you say she didn't pay rent.
Yes. The thing, I had to press charges because if I left her there, she might damage my property. If I were to stay there, she kept taunting me.
How was she taunting you?
That night, when the police came, she said, while you're at work, I'm having sex with all kinds of guys, and I have 30,000.
How did you know her? Let's go back for
How'd I
one
meet her?
second. Yeah, how'd you meet her? And when?
Years ago.
Years ago, where?
Online, probably Craigslist.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Does she have her stuff back now?
I put everything in storage.
Does she have her stuff back now is my question.
I don't know. I haven't been in storage.
Is her stuff in storage?
Yes.
Great. And you haven't been there because
I'm locked out.
Listen to me. Try to clear your mind for a second. Have you been there?
Yes.
And you can't get in?
I can't.
Great. Well, he's going to let you in. You can take all your stuff.
No, she's lying. I saw
No, just
she was in there.
Just a second. You're going to let her in. You just told me her stuff was in storage. You're going to let her into storage.
She
take
has
her
the key.
stuff. Do you understand what I'm saying
Yeah.
to you? Follow my words. I don't believe either one of you, actually, so I'm going to get rid of this case very fast. Do you know why I don't believe either one of you? Because you both full of baloney.
No,
so listen to me very carefully. If you told me her stuff is in storage, then she's going to go and get her stuff from storage. And then the case is over. You don't have a counterclaim. He's not responsible for your motel bill.
I can't get in storage because it's past due.
Bye.
Really?
Really?
I just excuse you and step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy, her mother-in-law stands behind her son.
She haven't filed for the divorce, and she's not. I will, as soon as I get home. I left the house due to domestic violence.
Judge Judy.
I probably would have let her stay there. She just said, hey, I don't have the money. Can you help me out?
Oh, God, I paid him rent.
But she wasn't like that. She was taunting me.
He owed me, for damaging my property, like 20 grand.
If you're a good little boy, maybe I'll pay you the rent. Hey, can you clean my toilet?
He stole my asthma inhaler.
I didn't take her medication, but...
Well, he was hoping I would die.
I'll admit I was hoping at one point that she would die because I was angry.
And I just don't want to discuss it.
I just learned probably what it's like to be married, you know? No sex and lots of money out of your pocket.
A tenant's move-out went by the book.
At the end of the walkthrough, I said, is everything okay? He said,
I told her I'd be back to reassess it.
When somebody isn't telling me the truth, the hair on the back of my neck stands up. Did you point out any problems to her?
No, I didn't.
You can't come into court and think that the judge is stupid.
This is Judge Judy. Val McLemore says her former landlords, Vincent and Elizabeth Saldias, are wrongfully withholding her security deposit.
Judges, case number 60 on the calendar in the matter of McLemore versus Saldias. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Miss McLemore, you and your roommate were tenants of the defendants for 3 years. That's what I read.
Yes, ma'am.
Was this a private house?
Yes, it was.
How large a home was it?
2 bedrooms, 1 bath. It was fairly small.
And where do the defendants live? Do they live close by or far away?
Well, I don't know exactly where they live, but as far as I know, Oildale.
About how far is that from the rental property?
About maybe 15 miles.
And the first year that you lived there, you had a 1-year lease?
Yes, ma'am. And after that, there was
and then
we were just on a 30-day.
It converted to a month-to-month.
Right.
You want your security deposit back.
Yes, ma'am.
You lived there for 3 years. According to you, you paid your rent on time.
Yes, ma'am.
You have a $900 security deposit. You were supposed to get it back.
Yes, ma'am. I did a walkthrough with Mr. Saldias.
Mr. Saldias, did Miss McLemore and you conduct a walkthrough at the termination of her lease?
I conducted a quick walkthrough, and I told her I'd be back to reassess it.
I don't care whether it was quick or took 24 hours. Did anything prevent you from having a longer walkthrough?
Well, at that time, I had received a call from my wife that stated that they were ready to turn over the keys. So I took a drive to that side of town and did a quick walkthrough with them and told them I would be...
Listen, Saldias, understand this. I asked you a question. My question was, did anybody prevent you from doing a longer walkthrough?
No.
And when you did the walkthrough with the plaintiff, did you point out any problems to her?
Well, there were some obvious issues.
No, I want you to... I don't care whether there are obvious issues. I asked you whether you told or wrote down anything that you found that was a damage, whether you either told her verbally or wrote down someplace on that date, the date of the walkthrough, any negative thing that you found. Let's start quickly. Did you write it down?
No, I didn't.
Well, you're a landlord. You're supposed to write it down and give her a copy of the walkthrough.
I didn't know that was due at that particular...
Did you tell her that you found that was wrong with the house?
Well, I sent her an itemized list.
What did you tell her that I'm going to believe? When did you send her an itemized list? The question is when. Date.
When they vacated, there was an itemized list. Let me pull it here.
Give me the date that you sent her an itemized list. They vacated the last day in March. Is that correct?
Correct.
What date did you send her an itemized list?
4/20/2020.
Well, 4/20 is 3 weeks later. Had she already made a demand for the return of her security? Of course she did. Right. And after she made a demand for her security back, you said, well, this is what I found wrong. My question to you, Mr. Saldias, is on the date of the walkthrough, which was what date?
I believe it was around the 12th of the month.
12th of March.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're saying, Mr. Saldias, is over a month later, you sent her a list of things that you found wrong. You didn't tell her anything on March 12th when you did the walkthrough.
I asked him. At the end of the walkthrough. I said, is everything okay? He said, everything looks fine. I said, well, how long will it be before I get my security deposit back? And he said, should be 2 or 3 days. Shouldn't be long at all. Well, I waited 3 weeks.
Yes, I want you to be very careful with your answer to me. Do you remember Miss McLemore saying to you, does everything look okay?
I don't remember.
Do you remember that? That's a question.
I don't remember that specific wording, but...
I want to tell you something. Before you start fumfering around, I have a radar back here. When somebody isn't telling me the truth, the hair on the back of my neck stands up. Do you understand?
Yes.
Did Miss McLemore say to you, does everything look okay?
There were some items there that Miss McLemore and her roommate at the time, which I don't recognize the other lady here as being the roommate that was there when we rented to her, had pointed out to me. And I've got evidence of that, of some of the repairs that needed to take place.
I don't care whether there were any repairs that had to take place. You're the landlord. I asked you a simple question. Did Miss McLemore say to you, does everything look okay? When can I get my security back? And you said 2-3 days.
At that time.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that. At that time.
Okay.
He actually gave me a hug.
Just a sec. So now you remember
Judge Judy,
it.
they weren't bad tenants, but At the time that they were leaving, the yard wasn't done. I have pictures to show you. It cost us money to get those things done.
Just a second. If you are alleging that between the 12, they caused some sort of damage to the property, I will look at that. Do you understand? I will also look at the bills that it took.
The other thing I'd like to point...
remedy whatever they did.
Okay. The other thing I'd like to point out is...
So now...
From the time that they provided the 30-day notice and the time that they vacated, they didn't pay me for that month of rent.
Just a second. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Okay. Right now, I'm talking about damage. Then I'm going to get to the 13 days that you are alleging they should pay you for because they gave you 30-day notice on April 12th, so you want to charge them for that rent. I'll get to that in a minute, Mr. Saldias.
Okay.
I want to see photographs of what you allege is the damage that they left when they left and receipts to fix it.
First off, there was I didn't notice it on the initial walkthrough, but there was window screens that were missing. I found 2 of them located in the garage that were beyond repair. There was a total of 4 of them. This is the cost to get those items repaired.
That's a problem for you.
Okay.
You should have noticed it. Take the statement, which I don't buy anyway. Next.
That is the 30-day. They could have never done the walkthrough on the 12th.
Next.
This is a 30-day that she provided, which clearly shows the date, and she could not have done the walkthrough on the 12th. If you see the documents dated.
Okay, so that's the 13th. So
Yeah,
I asked you, what date did you do the walkthrough?
Do you remember?
After. It was
I asked you what... Just a second. Do you understand? The first thing I asked you for was damages. I'm going to see what are the damages. First thing is nonsense. I don't even believe that receipt. Next, damages, pictures, and bills.
They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Here, let me get to the pictures.
That's what I would like to see.
Also,
and then the bills.
Also, the plaintiff alleged that we had rented the premises because a friend of mine allowed us to put a travel trailer on the property.
Listen to me. Don't try to get me off track. I don't get off track.
Well, no, but that picture also displays...
Show me the damage that you are alleging.
In this photograph of the backyard, you can note the height of the yard. And as you know, grass doesn't grow that quick in 2 weeks.
So far, you owe them $900. Now we're going to get to your friend's trailer. What's your friend's name?
Gonzalez.
Where does he live?
In Bakersfield.
How long has he had this trailer?
At the time, he had just purchased it.
Just a second. At what time?
At the time that it's...
Month. Mr. Saldias, you'll never get where I'm going. When did he purchase it? Month.
March.
I don't want you to say anything.
Okay.
Unless I'm looking at you and asking you, go back to Mr. Saldias. He purchased the trailer in March, correct? Is that what your wife just told me?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
When did you find out that he had purchased the trailer?
Well, the date that he placed the trailer there is when he had purchased it.
That's not what he told me.
So he purchased it. Just a second. Please don't help me. So far, you're winning, right? So far?
So far.
He purchased it the same day you put it in the house.
Yes, he called me and he said he had purchased...
Because...
He had purchased a trailer and I
Go
asked
ahead.
him... He said, hey, can I put it on one of your properties on Wilson? And I said, better yet, I have a house that's on Chester that's available, and it would do me a favor so that the premises looked occupied. But he never took...
Great, that's what you told me. Just a second. That's what you told Mr. Gonzalez.
That is correct.
Is that right?
That is correct, yes.
Now, how good a friend is Mr. Gonzalez?
Pretty good friend.
How good?
I mean, good enough to have done that favor for me. He didn't have to do it, you know.
He wasn't doing you a favor. You were doing him a favor.
Well, I mean...
Don't listen to me. You can't come into court and think that the judge is stupid and that...
I by no means think that you're stupid.
Very good. So he wasn't doing you a favor. You were either doing him a favor or charging him to park his trailer in the house.
Now,
which one is it? And then give me Mr. Gonzalez.
You're speculating, but...
Then give me his phone. Now give me Mr. Gonzalez's phone number.
Do you have a pen ready?
I do.
661.
You want to check that in your phone to make sure before I waste my time calling him?
Oh, there's no need to waste your
That's
time.
the right number?
You'll find that it's correct.
Very good. Terrific. I don't believe that's the number.
3661.
You want to check your phone? You want to check your phone?
He's a good enough friend
Check
that
your
I know
phone.
his number. So
That's the right number.
You have another number for him?
No.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Is Mr. Gonzalez's trailer still parked at the house?
No.
When did it move? Don't look at her. If you don't know the answer, look at me and say, I don't know the answer.
And later today.
Did your girlfriend have insurance on the car on that day?
I did not
Is not an answer. The answer is either a car had insurance or it didn't have insurance.
Val, Vincent, and Elizabeth Saldias for the return of her security deposit.
Okay, is Mr. Gonzalez's trailer still parked at the house?
No.
When did it move?
Asking you.
Don't look at her. If you don't know the answer, look at me and say, I don't know the answer.
I don't know the answer. I know that it was moved off when the new...
Miss Salai,
when the new tenants took possession.
when did the new tenants take possession?
May 1st.
Now back to Mr. Saldias. When did move his trailer?
I don't remember the specific date.
Well, you started to say when the new tenant moved in. That would be May 1st. Don't look at her, look at me. That would be May 1st, because nobody wants to rent a house and pay rent when you have a huge trailer sitting there.
And nobody wants to squat in a house that believes there's people living in it as well.
You owe her security deposit. You may make a whole bunch of excuses. You can't make excuses here. She lived there for 3 years. You told her she would get her security deposit, and then you made up a whole bunch of excuses not to give it to her. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $900.
Your Honor,
that was your security deposit, correct?
Correct.
I'm not speaking to you. Correct?
Correct.
Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you.
Case is concluded. Parties are excused.
I guess she found what she was looking for.
All my life, I've never, ever had to get back a security.
Look at everything.
There was no rush. He was in no rush.
I wish everybody the best.
Bring your case to Judge Judy. She'll get it.
All parties in the matter of Smith versus Maxwell. Step to the podium, please.
James Smith is suing fellow motorist Gary Maxwell Jr. for backing into his car in a grocery store parking lot.
Mr. Smith, this was an automobile accident that occurred in a parking lot on the 9th of September of this year.
Yes, ma'am, the 9th of September
The 9th.
this year.
What time of the day, sir?
It must have been about late afternoon, between 5:30 and 5:20.
What were the lighting conditions?
It was daylight.
Was it still light?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of car were you driving, sir?
A Nissan Frontier, 2019.
Which you had full coverage on, I assume.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you allege that the accident was caused by Mr. Maxwell's negligence.
Yes, ma'am.
Your insurance paid for it. We're going to find out why. But you had a $1,000 deductible, which came out of your pocket to fix the damage.
Yes.
Mr. Maxwell said that the accident was your fault. He didn't have any major damage to his vehicles, which is why he is not counterclaiming. Mr. Maxwell, what kind of car were you driving?
2008 Toyota Avalon.
Who owns that car?
My girlfriend, Debbie Antu.
Did your girlfriend?
I did not
Is
realize...
not an answer. The answer is either a car had insurance or it didn't have insurance.
No, ma'am. It had lapsed a couple days before.
Always a couple of days before. The check got lost in the mail. The dog ate the bill. The child flushed it down the toilet. There's always a reason. So you were driving your girlfriend's uninsured car.
Correct.
That's going to make my job a whole lot easier. What was your girlfriend driving?
My girlfriend had just had shots in her neck. That's the reason I was driving.
Was she in the car with you?
She was.
Where were you coming from that day, sir?
Me, Mr. Smith, I was coming from Stater Brothers, and I was on my way to exit a parking lot, and I had some people in front of me that was shoppers, so I had to wait till they clear before I make my right-hand turn. And Mr. Maxwell, without paying attention...
Okay, so you were parked in a space, but people were walking in front of you.
No, I wasn't parked. I was already ready to make my right-hand turn. I was already out the...
You mean out of the... You were going out of the parking lot.
I was
do
trying
you have
to...
a diagram to show me?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
I'd like to see where your car was.
Okay.
That would be helpful to me. So I didn't understand it
My car was right here, like the orange
Had
spot.
been parked where?
It was parked getting ready to make the right turn in front of Stater Brothers.
No.
A moment.
He hit me, Your Honor.
No, he can't have hit you on the side of his car unless it was snowing and he skidded into you. He skidded into you sideways. It didn't look like it was snowing.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. James Smith is suing fellow motorist Gary Maxwell Jr. for backing into his car in a grocery store parking lot.
Okay, Mr. Smith, had your car been parked in the parking lot?
Yes, it has.
Show me which spot is the spot where you were parked.
I was parked by right here, like the second parking spot right here.
Okay, so you pulled out of the parking spot and you were ready to exit the parking lot.
Yes, ma'am. And Mr. Maxwell.
And is there just a second, is what you're telling me the defendant was parked right opposite you and he backed out into your car?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have photographs of the damage to your car?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it. Okay. Now point out where the damage was.
Rear end to the rear end tire, right below, right here. When you open the door,
I see.
The rear tire.
Okay, on the side of the car.
Yes, ma'am.
On the driver's side of the car. I understand. Okay. Any other photographs you want me to see?
If you want to see the whole car, yes, ma'am, I do. I actually got a better picture of where the damage is by the wheel. By here, you can see.
Okay, so according to you, the defendant pulled out of the spot. His back bumper went into your driver's side, but the passenger door.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have the bill that you got to fix the car showing the $1,000 deductible that you had to pay?
Yes, ma'am.
So they charged you $2,500.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? And your deductible was $1,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir. After this accident happened, according to what I read, the defendant got out of the car. You got out of the car. Did you have a conversation with him?
Yes, it's changed insurance information so I can get my automobile fixed.
And he gave you insurance information.
That was no good. Yes.
I know. I got it. But
Yes.
he gave you an insurance card.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you called to the police station, Mr. Maxwell?
No, I was not.
Well, how did you provide him with a corrected alleged insurance?
The police called me.
After the accident. Okay. So the police called you.
Correct.
And then it was determined that you had no insurance.
Right.
Right.
Moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, the damage to your car, you say, was on the rear bumper.
Correct. And that was done prior to us owning the vehicle.
So there was absolutely no damage to your car?
Correct. Not from this incident.
Okay. And what part of your car hit the plaintiff's car?
I have no idea.
You have no idea.
The damage that he...
Try on this idea. Try on that you owe him for his deductible. You don't drive around in a car without liability insurance. Do you understand?
He hit me, Your Honor.
Liability. No, he can't have hit you on the side of his car unless it was snowing and he skidded into you. He skidded into you sideways. It didn't look like it was snowing.
If you look at the damage done to his car, it does not look like my car could have done that damage. If you look at the close-up dents, there's no way that bumper could have done that damage. I have pictures showing.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,000. We're done here. Out. Don't drive a car without insurance.
Yes, ma'am.
Case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
What happened after you made the last payment?
Told me the car was nothing, no.
No, there's something wrong with you. What did you do with the money?
Next Judge Judy.
He also told me he was in an accident 2 weeks prior.
Only